All right, let's see how our Thunder Sword boy does on our Wave 24 Elite. So you can see relatively efficient kill here. Good morning, good evening, and of course, good afternoon. Today, we're going to be taking one of my favorite characters as far into endless mode as we possibly can as we play the Gandalf Police Officer mashup, the Taser Mage. Yes, that will make sense. I will explain it a little bit more later. Now, Mage, specifically the Taser Mage, is one of my all-time favorite characters in Brotato, and I'm excited to take this peculiar potato into endless mode. I do like that elemental damage there early. Really like the scared sausage, but I am trying to get some tasers locked first, as notably tasers are support weapons as well as elemental weapons, giving us elemental damage as well as early harvesting, which is really, really strong. So even though I do want that sausage, I do want to go ahead and get a couple of tasers online to get that early harvesting bonus that comes from the support tag. As I point at the screen as though you can see me, which you cannot because you are not watching over my shoulder, you're watching through my webcam. However, just know old habits die hard. What that means is if we're able to get 5 tasers early, we will get 6 tasers early, we will get a nice 25 bonus to harvesting. And since we'll still be able to potentially buy that scared sausage, I will reroll a little aggressively. Again, really just want to get that harvesting rolling from support, so we have as long as we need, or as long as we can, to take advantage of that. Now we'll go ahead and pick up the burning sausage after the wave 3 shot. Because these tasers are support as well as elemental, I do think harvesting works pretty well on Mage. So we get that 25 bonus harvesting, taking a little bit more harvesting from upgrades or items is not a bad idea. In addition, most of the harvesting items I think are actually really, really good on Mage, and we'll talk about why as they come up. In the meantime, we're going to keep tasing as we move through these first 3 waves. Love a free shady potion, and I'm not going to turn down some elemental damage, nor will I turn down some attack speed. So now we will take the scared sausage as well as that fertilizer, seeing if we can in fact spike our last taser, which we cannot. So normally I would not reroll there, but I'm feeling really good about those items. So we'll go ahead and roll through with a one less taser than I would like. Now, notably, Mage gets a really nice 33% increase to all of their elemental damage. An additional, Mage does start with 1 scared sausage as well as 1 snake, which help us both set and spread our burning across the map. Notably, they get minus 100 to all ranged as well as engineering as well as melee damage, which means we have to go really elemental damage if we want to play effectively. So elemental we shall in fact play, and hopefully do so effectively. Do like our free eye surgery and don't hate a little bit more harvesting, as well as an epic elemental upgrade there, quite strong. So feeling really good about this, as long as we can get our last taser, which we do, and happy with both a taser and a coffee. Again, I think eye surgery are okay. I mean, we do want to sort of take them with burning, although notably, if we look at our little sprite here on the map, they do look really, really creepy, as our, Mage now has like giant eye sockets or eye caverns, which is sort of unsettling, but that is what it is. I have sort of enjoyed how every update they've increased the number of items that modify your character's sprites, so it's always somewhat of a delicious, I don't know why I said delicious, somewhat of an unexpected surprise whenever we do go ahead and pick up one of those eye surgeries. So clearing wave 5 here, nary any issue at hand. I'm excited to see where we take this as we head into endless mode. I'm looking for something a little bit better than those, and so we'll go ahead and pick up that luck. Really do like the taser, and I like the coffee quite a bit as well. I do like the charcoal, again, somewhat inefficient, but I do think elemental damage is very, very important. And do like our very first flamethrower, which is very, very strong. We'll go ahead and do 1 cursory roll here. Flamethrowers, have trouble critting, right? The burning doesn't crit, so can sort of be a non-bow with hunting trophy, but I do think 1 early flamethrower can just take all the sort of area of effect issues you have just away. So I'm going to go ahead and take that flamethrower. Really happy to see that. And we can potentially even pair that flamethrower with something like some thunder swords, which can be a lot of fun. However, we will see how this build develops as we go ahead and head here into wave 6. Feeling pretty solid about things. Really happy to get that early snake. Is if you don't get any flamethrowers, snakes really do a good job of keeping sort of the spread away from the map. But for now, we'll go ahead and see if we can go ahead and take out that tree, which we do, and we do go ahead and get a crate. Even if it gives us a compass, which we will pass on. Looking for something a little bit better than these upgrades, like 15% increased attack speed, as well 1 elemental damage. Make way tasers. It is now time for a flamethrower, which I think is really, really strong on this character. I'm really happy to upgrade some more tasers as well. So again, 1 flamethrower really takes care of all of our area damage needs. Now I'm not afraid of any horde waves or anything like that, as I do think Taser Mage can struggle just a little bit on horde waves. But yes, we are playing a wizard, so I'm imagining something kind of like a Gandalf character or a wizard from your preferred fantasy world. However, we don't have a giant quarterstaff with our billowing beard and large gray robe. Yes, I did mix up those adjectives on purpose. We are walking around being a stereotypical wizard, however, with a taser. Zap, zap, zap. We'll go ahead and set the entire map on fire as we mash up our Gandalf and RoboCop fantasy here today, as we combine both wizards and police officers as we play the mage with tasers. A fun image, I do in fact assure you, and it plays fun too. It's a good sort of class to play. Love a free coupon, and I do not hate 15% attack speed. Now, part of the reason I do think harvesting is so good is there's a lot of items in this game like Peaceful Bee, and a normal character, like, you have to sort of go away, I'm giving up some damage for some harvesting. Peaceful Bee on Mage, because we can't get melee or range damage, is just straight dodge, and harvesting giving us pretty much only a benefit. So I'm quite happy with that. I do think a little bit of range can be good on this character, so I'm happy with a banner. Again, tasers have such a low range that getting a little bit of range online early, I do think is good. Now, we're going to be doing this into endless mode, and we'll be making decisions that consider that. So I'm not going to play this exactly the same as if it was a normal, normal D5 run. I did do a mage guide for normal, which I will link in the description below. However, keep in mind that was one of my very first videos I ever did, and I was still kind of figuring things out. So it is a little rough around the edges. So do keep that in mind if you do feel so inclined to give it a watch. It was when I was very, very new at this, even though I wouldn't say I'm that experienced at this now. I was like my 3rd video, and maybe 7 weeks or so ago. So I was very much still figuring out how to do this whole YouTube thing. But again, really happy with how things are going as we go ahead and light everything on fire on our lovely Taser Mage, which has not a care in the world as they run around with a giant flamethrower. No turret for us. Do love a toxic sludge for some elemental damage as well as some attack speed. And we'll take, I guess, a touch armor, even though I don't really need it. We'll take another eye surgery and keep aggressively, and I mean aggressively, upgrading these tasers like range and attack speed. So I'm happy with a second banner. Going into wave 9 with our flamethrower, I feel very, very good, although our elemental damage does feel a little low. Hopefully we'll find some fuel tanks or something of the sort. Although I do think Mage, if they don't get any snakes, can in fact struggle here on wave 9. With all it takes is one just blue flamethrower, and you will handle wave 9 without any issues, as those flamethrowers are so strong and dealing all your area of effect needs. But feeling pretty good about this. Notably, we can see that flamethrower critting for 1 damage, as that flamethrower does do just 1 damage with 1% elemental scaling, which is not how it used to be. When this game was younger, flamethrowers did not deal 1 damage. They scale very, very well with elemental damage. The flamethrowers themselves could crit. So yes, flamethrowers are like absolutely busted. Arguably the best weapon in the game for a patch or two, as we sort of think about Brotato's lovely but interesting history. That said, even with the nerfs, picking up 1 flamethrower is quite good, although it has changed from the days of it just being like one of the best just straight weapons in the game. No laser turret for us, no rip and tear for us, 1 bunny, sure, and we'll go ahead and take that peacock. And again, if we're going to keep getting good attack speed, I'm happy to take it. And we'll take some harvesting as well. So things like Schmoop aren't really that good items. We can sort of take them for free for all intents and purposes here, so we will do just that. Love a campfire, because again, our elemental damage does feel a little bit low. Somewhat tempted by the white flag, but I will pass on it for now, and we'll actually take a blindfold, which I think will be okay there. And really do like a tentacle, giving us our second one. We'll do 1 more reroll. Don't really see anything I love, so we'll go ahead and keep it moving. I do have our first elite on wave 11, which I do think we'll be able to dispatch with reasonably easily, although again, I feel a little bit behind on the elemental damage, as that is a huge point of emphasis that I am looking for. That said, tasers are very, very good at taking out elites, even if they have also been nerfed. Tasers deal 1 at times elemental damage at 80% scaling, 2 times elemental damage at 70, 3 times elemental damage at 60% scaling, and 4 times elemental damage at 50% scaling. So they do sort of generally get more powerful, even if they do get less scaling. That was changed last patch. Previously, they just scaled the same. So elemental legendary weapon was just 4 times as good. So they were brought down to earth a little bit, which I understand because tasers were like ludicrously powerful. But yes, before both the taser as well as the flamethrower got nerfed, Mage was an extraordinarily powerful character indeed. So even though they are not quite the same on the backs of those 2 nerfs, it is still a relatively powerful character. We'll take that free lumberjack shirt, and I will actually take touch of percent damage because that feels I don't like leaving that that low. And we will actually take the elemental damage, although I really did think about that speed. You know, like, do I want to do the alienized thing? I don't know, not really. So we'll go ahead and pass that there, even though it could potentially be good. I will take a touch of armor, even though it's not insanely necessary because our offense is so good. Don't really see any good sort of purchases there. So we'll go ahead and take out this lead. Again, we're a little low in elemental damage, so while I just completely whiffed the dodge there. But I think we'll be able to take this elite out without too many issues. You know, see, dealing decent enough damage there. I do think this is kind of how I like to dodge the Rhino, is just sort of let it charge to me, circle around it, and sort of dodge the projectiles as they come out. So you can see, other than that initial slip up, took 1 hit from the Rhino there and did not have a whole lot of issues after that. One item I really do like on a Taser Mage specifically is the Ricochet, because it allows all your projectiles to hit multiple enemies and increase multiple burnings. So hopefully we are fortunate enough to see that. Also think the Thunder Sword can be a lot of fun on this character. So depending on what we see, I may go ahead and change that. So good weapons on this run, although we feel a little bit behind on harvesting as well as crit if we do find a hunting trophy. Although we may want to reevaluate our flamethrower plan if we do in fact find that. So pretty efficient wave there. No explosive turret for us. Looking for something a little bit better here, like 2 elemental damage, which I think is quite good, as we get some more elemental damage from that toxic sludge. We'll take a butterfly as well as a boiling water, as well as an energy bracelet for sort of a cacophony of good items. And to wave 12, I will take the peacock. You know, wheat, it just kills me. Wheat's such a good item, and it gives negative elemental damage. I hate seeing that, because if it did give like 2 or 3 elemental damage, it would be so good on this character. I'll go ahead and buy that spicy sauce just because our HP is a little low. You know, one thing about Mage is 2 of the best items on Mage, Snake as well as boiling water, both reduce your HP, which means you may want to think about HP a little bit more than you would on a normal potato. So part of the reason why I sometimes will just grab an HP item or 2, something like a spicy sauce or a cake, even if it does relatively limited, you know, even if the benefit is relatively small here. So feeling pretty good about this. Obviously able to handle this wave 12 without too much of an issue. Would love some more gentle aliens or mice or something of that nature to get some more enemies on the map. But overall, feeling pretty good about where this one is headed. Pardon me there as I take a big old gulp of water, trying not to give everybody an ASMR experience through my gulps. So hopefully I was effective. Got a couple level ups there due to the peacock, so happy about that. We'll go ahead and crank the crit a little bit. Get some glasses, get our 3rd sausage. Don't need any of these. I do like a hunting trophy, which I think can be quite good, although it's obviously not that good with our flamethrower. You can see now, whatchamacallit, 35 times 4. So obviously increasing the power there. So now with that hunting trophy, I may try to get my crit up a little bit and potentially drop the flamethrower. So even with the burning being unable to crit, you know, can still get you some use out of the tasers here. But feeling pretty good about where this is headed. Is again, even though hunting trophies aren't like great on Mage, you know, since we are thinking about endless mode, I do want to potentially try to still get some value out of that crit in endless mode. So just all things that we may potentially want to think about as we see how far in endless mode we can in fact get with our little Bernie boy, the Taser Mage. But having fun, seeing what we can accomplish, and feeling good about that here today. Wave 13, not a whole lot of issues. Again, getting a lot of mileage out of that flamethrower, as we can see. So if we do end up saying goodbye to it, a sad day that will in fact be. Love a vigilance rain, and also do like a tree. All things pretty good. With -3 speed, don't mind a touch of speed. Do love boiling water as well as a blindfold. Go ahead and get these tasers upgraded. I don't really need any of that, nor do we really need any of that, although I will happily take another sunglasses. I really do like a taser. And again, alloy, the other sort of item that is sort of a staple that does not give us elemental damage, giving us engineering, range, and as well as melee. And I'm like, did engineering, like, did they not get the memo? Like, everything else gets benefit from alloy, but not engineering, but not elemental, sorry. So it's just sort of weird to me that elemental damage is left off of that item, considering elemental is such a narrow type of damage here. And that is one thing I would like to see changed in Brotato, is I would really like to see some more characters get some value out of elemental. Right now, the mage is really only like the straight elemental character, and I would really like to see that sort of expanded into some other characters, because yes, you can like force an all-rounder elemental build, but like, why would you? So I would like to see just some characters that take some other characters that are able to more effectively use elemental, because right now the sort of range of characters that use is just so narrow. I would like to see that expanded if possible. If anybody's listening, which they're probably not, however, if they were, that would be some advice I might give to the powers that be. Free propeller hat, sure, why not? And again, I feel a little bit behind on elemental damage here, so really do like a couple combines here, giving us some much better tasers, which I think will really help here as we go into a wave 15 elite, which will be the butcher. However, I do think we're going to be in a good spot to take this butcher out nice and easily, as long as I do not mess up another dodge, which was a little embarrassing, but hey, I can't always play perfect. I can only play perfect most of the time. So we're able to take that butcher out, other than that sort of fat finger dodge, without too much of an issue. Again, I think tasers are a relatively good boss and elite killing weapon, and they were even better before they were nerfed. They used to be like insanely good. So something to keep in mind there. But feeling pretty solid taking all of these little fellas out. As I do think we're putting something decent together here. I mean, good elemental damage, 107 harvesting. Although I do want to get the elemental damage up even more. Is good in a vacuum, but not good in terms of how much I have gotten in times past. In addition, continuing to crank that crit so we can get some value out of that hunting trophy when we do in fact get to the endless mode portion of the game, which I hope to be something that really does help us out. And there we go. You know what? Even though it does reduce our elemental damage, we get so much good stuff from the cape. I will take it. No pumpkin yet, and love a gnome. I hate losing the pickup range, but again, just some really good sort of stats there. We'll take a touch of range for it, as well as a blindfold. No upgrades for us. I don't really think we need a schmoop. With 6 armor, do like a glass cannon quite a bit. Do like a tentacle. Don't really think the spider is good enough. And love another vigilante ring, which will help us a lot in endless mode. So we'll pick that up, putting us at 2. Obviously, would really like to see that ricochet, which will help our tasers a lot. Is potentially like maybe a thunder sword as well. I think could be something that is a lot of fun. Our next elite is on wave 17, and I do think we will be able to take that elite out without too much of an issue. And again, with 2 thunder rings, or 2 vigilante rings, we're going to have a good job. We're going to do a good job, I think, of, you know, doing well in endless mode. That'll help a lot. Obviously, we love something like a Grind's Magical Leaf, as well as the ever-present Anvil, which I think will be a good way just to help us scale. That said, getting the anvil can be hard if we don't play like an insane busted harvesting or, you know, a harvesting or hunting trophy build. So all things to keep in mind here as we move through wave 16 together. Not a whole lot of issues as our mage flame boy is doing nice and well. For free, we'll take a bag, and I guess we'll take 60 range. Could be good if we worry about retribution hoodie in the future. Don't really need any of these. Don't really need any of these. Again, I think 1 flamethrower is plenty. Wave 17, 18, 19. You know, the crown isn't really that good, but it is unique, so we'll go ahead and take both of these as well as we move into wave 17. I do think we will be able to handle this monk elite without too much of an issue. Go ahead and position ourselves so we're able to take out that elite without really even having to take the damage off the boss. So you can see about 10-second boss kill, not too shabby, and we will only go up from there with our 51 elemental damage. We will try to get that as high as possible, as fast as possible. So our mage, our police officer mage that uses both tasers and is half Robocop, half Gandalf, is in fact getting to their fuller level of power, as Gandalf the Grey is becoming, you know, Gandalf the White, and Robocop is, you know, well past the police academy at this point. both enforcing the law and spreading wisdom, as both Robocop and Gandalf do, in a weird sort of hybrid build, because again, just I am so tickled by the image of a wizard type character, you know, run around and like zapping people with tasers. To me, that's hilarious, and I think that is the pinnacle of humor. If you disagree with me, then that means you probably have a sound sense of what's funny. However, I do not, so I will find my humor where in fact I can. Yeah, sure, free potato, a little bit of everything. Do not hate to see that. And with that hunting trophy, I will go ahead and tag a bit of crit. Anyway, here we're going to do a couple of sort of interesting decisions. We're actually going to dunk this flamethrower because it does not really work well with our hunting trophy to a thunder sword, which is just a lot of fun, and really happy here with another peacock. That said, we will be hanging on to the taser, and without further ado, we will head into wave 18 and do our wave 18 segue, where we talk about a topic related but not directly about Brotato or the run in question. Today we're going to be talking about the next patch. I do not know anything that you do not. I have no insider information. However, I thought I'd just talk briefly about the next patch. I do think the longest this game has gone without an update has been about 2 months. The game is obviously in early access, with our last patch hitting right at the start of February. Since we're sort of at the long end of the window, I would not be surprised to see a patch hit the early access title relatively shortly. Some changes I expect to see, again, I don't know, but I would expect to see are potentially some changes to endless mode, potentially both in the scaling as well as items like padding, because right now they're just such a sort of broken way to play endless mode. I would not be surprised if that is rebalanced. Additionally, would not be surprised to see some other characters that utilize elemental damage, because that does feel like a weakness. That said, I've been loving all the game's patches, and I do hope we get a new one soon in order to sort of tweak a few things, and as well, of course, get a little bit more content. So I do hope we see one of those around the corner, as I do like that power generator, even if it is just okay for us now. Don't need any of those. And again, with our 44 dodge, I am very much happy with the retribution hoodie, which will help us a lot, as well as our last taser, which will give us a full slew of legendary tasers, putting us in a very good spot as we head into endless mode. Wow, you can see our attack speed is just absolutely insane at this point. So really going to get a lot of value there. A little bit about me. My name is Sean. I run a channel here called Sean's Here, which is a play on my name Sean, as well as the gaming term S tier. Been doing this for about 2 months and really appreciating all the love we are getting. If I've made you laugh or potentially even made you cry, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, it would just mean a lot, as that is the main way I'm trying to grow the channel at this point. Our immediate focus will continue to be on Brotato, although I do plan on expanding to other action-oriented roguelites in the future. So again, that would mean a lot to me as we move back here to the potato action, as we are starting to see our hunting trophies as well as that thunder sword really come into fruition here, getting a solid amount of materials from that one hunting trophy. So just showing how we can get a little bit of mileage out of that into endless mode. No alien worm for us, and I will take a touch of range just to get that positive. Happy with tasers here, and really like that fuel tank, and sure, we will take an alien eyes. Why the heck not? We will take Sif's Relic as it is unique and presents a touch of value. We'll go ahead and take both of these. I do think we'll be in a good spot to sort of take out these bosses. Our elemental damage is a little low at only 57, so this is not going to be like the fastest boss kill ever. About 6 seconds, so not too bad. Really seeing... Okay, yeah, it wasn't too bad. I was expecting our boss kill to be a little slower than that, but obviously just showing the power there of the Retribution Hoodie, really ramping up our attack speed to 198, and I don't believe we actually have a community support. So, feeling pretty good. We'll see how our Mage Boy can do as they roll into Endless. Feeling pretty good about this. Notably, would like that Ricochet would be something that I would really like to see. Maybe we'll even get one in our crates as I play very aggressively there, and do not run right on top of a bruiser like I did. That is a little bit aggressive for this stage in the game. Because again, we don't really have great regen, great armor, or really great defense. It's just our offense has been so good, I haven't really been worried about that. That said, as the game does get a little bit harder, that is something I do want to think about. So we will go ahead and see if we're able to sort of pull this off here. Do like a free focus, and you know what? I mean, I think a spider is okay, although I don't think it's necessarily amazing. We'll go ahead and keep getting that crit as close to 100 as we can, like a coffee, like an energy bracelet, and like a snake to keep that burning. Run around like a tentacle as well. Love another hunting trophy. Is going to help us a lot with materials. We'll take this insanity, getting us almost to the level of crit that we are looking for. And I think we'll go ahead and save our money. Somewhat tempted by this charcoal because our elemental damage does feel a little bit low. Anyway, we don't have a whole lot going on this wave, so I'll see everybody on wave 22 when we fight our very first elites. So we'll go ahead and pick up a candle, which does hurt, but the elemental damage is so good, and really do like a wolf helmet, which I think is a lot of fun here. Don't really need any of these. I will take up a second thunder sword as well, and we'll go ahead and I think make short work of these elites. You can see absolutely just crushing these elites. If we are able to pick up something like an anvil, I will not be against doing a hunting trophy, or sorry, a thunder sword switch, as notably the sort of projectiles from the thunder sword can in fact crit, which is a lot of fun, and actually different than the lightning shiv projectile, which is sort of interesting. So I do think that could be a lot of fun in doing a sort of thunder sword build into endless, but we will have to see if we are lucky enough to get that anvil. I think that will be important because thunder sword is a relatively rare item and not something that we you know, can necessarily count on, you know, by the time we run out of money. As again, you know, we're doing so much damage from burning, we're not getting as many crits, although we can see that thunder sword really helping the sort of critage that we are seeing from this mage, giving us a solid amount of materials. You know, this is a good amount of materials for mage. No medical turret for us. Sure, we'll take a free alien tongue. Looking for something just a little bit better, which I do not see, so I will actually just take a touch more ranged. We're going to go ahead and dunk for a thunder sword, which I do think will be quite fun. Although you could potentially convince me. Okay, we got another thunder sword, which will be quite fun as I go ahead and repeat myself there. Speed seems relatively low, so we'll go ahead and take that, and we'll see how these thunder swords start to perform here. Again, thunder swords do like a little bit of range, because the more characters we can hit with our projectiles, you end up dealing projectiles for every enemy you hit. So if one swing can hit more enemies, it is a little bit more effective. Anyway, our next elite is in a wave or two, so we will go ahead and check in there. All right, let's see how our thunder sword boy does on our wave 24 elite. So you can see relatively efficient kill here, although the lack of sort of anvil or really any defense is starting to become a little bit more apparent. I did take 4 armor from the last upgrade, which probably saved us, quite frankly, as we were pretty close to getting got nice and early. But I do feel pretty good here if we're able to just get 1 or 2 key items, as these thunder swords again are really strong, and that projectile being able to crit is just absolutely insanely good with those hunting trophies. So I'm looking forward to that here as we go and sort of cruise on through the end of wave 24, praying to RNGesus for the rest of the tools that we need in order to get this build the rest of the way. It's close, my friends. It's close. But can we in fact get it there, as the scaling does start to increase after wave 25? Free snail, sure. And darn it, wheat, we do not in fact need you. Do you like another boiling water? We do not want to forget about elemental damage. We'll grab another snake. Anyway, we'll go ahead and see everybody on wave after the next wave or two, once we're at our next elite. So here we are on wave 27. If we can survive, we do have an anvil waiting for us. Notably, we do not have a ricochet, which does sort of ameliorate the power of these thunder swords, but able to really do a good amount of damage there with our 93 or so. Harvesting again those anvils. Thunder swords really get very powerful when we do get them to legendary, as they do spawn 4 projectiles, which I think is really good and really will help. And especially we can get something like a ricochet that really does help them track down enemies, and they'll also give us some much needed armor. As with only 7 armor and 54 HP, we are very much squishy for this point on this mode, but you know, you can still see doing pretty solid here. We'll have to sort of focus here, because we are not an easy, you know, this is not a padding build, right? Like, we're definitely playing a little bit more intense here, but seeing how far we can in fact take this, but feeling pretty good about where this is. Trees, no lost duck, sure. And again, I really do like the anvil. I am really tempted by that wolf helmet, so we'll go ahead and take it. So I do feel behind on elemental damage. So anyway, if we're able to survive the next couple of waves, I do think we're going to see a lot of benefit out of that anvil. but we will have to survive so we can start getting these things upgraded. And again, we are very, very low on defense. Only 7 armor and like no health. I do think we have 1 padding, but that is not enough to really get this thing going. But the nice thing is with our double hunting trophies as well as these thunder swords, we're going to see a lot of benefit from those. Anyway, we'll check in here at the end of the wave. All right, wave complete, and there we go. Another thunder sword. We'll see if we can make this happen. As our a thunder sword now at legendary now spawns 4 projectiles, not 2, which is a relatively large difference, especially in keeping the waves clear. However, we are very, very squishy, so we do want to be very careful. As I do think we will clear wave 29 without too much of an issue, but I do expect to have some challenges here on wave 30. But you can see our projectiles absolutely just smoking the map and doing a great job here, taking lots of things out. As you can see, just the map sort of exploding. And again, the more sort of thunder swords we get, the more benefit we get from those hunting trophies. Those 2 hunting trophies, again, with those projectiles, doing a great job, giving us even more money. And we can sort of see the paddings desperately attempting to scale as our lonely padding does all the effort that they can, in fact, do. But we'll see how wave 30 goes. You know it, we're going into another thunder sword. Really happy to see that. And again, really just looking for better items at this point. I am somewhat tempted by a fin because our speed is still 10, but we'll see if we can go ahead and get this wave 30 win here. Whew. Our thunder swords are desperately flailing away here, but doing good damage, I'd say. So far, so good. All right. Wave 30. And not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And again, this has been a relatively late thunder sword switch, but our thunder swords are doing good. So I'm kind of excited to see how far we can really make this go, because this is, I think, fun. I mean, right? Like, you're having fun with thunder swords. They scale a little bit better at the end of the game than tasers do, giving us pretty good clear. I mean, we're pretty much one-shotting giant blocks enemies, which is pretty fun. But you can see zoom, running around having a grand old time here today. But doing what I love, which is slicing and dicing our way through Brotato as we get all these thunder swords upgraded and even get a free chest there from that looter. Sure tree, no hedgehog for us. We'll re-roll just a bit here. Don't need any of that. Extra stomach is like somewhat tempting. So don't see a whole lot here. We'll see if we can take out wave 31, which is where the game does start to get substantially harder. That said, we do have a couple of legendary thunder swords. We can see dodging around there. Okay. Again, good thing about our sort of remaining 2 tasers, they're doing a good job keeping the bosses slowed down a little bit. That's so we are relatively frail here. But yeah, there we go. Hey, not too shabby, right? Like we're surviving, we're thriving. And it's kind of fun exploring a like absolute busted like endless mode, right? Like we're not building around that strategy. We're just seeing how far we can get using kind of an odd strategy, which is a lot of fun. Obviously, if we had like a ton of paddings at this point, we would be doing a little better. But hey, you know what? I'm having fun to see. Oh wow, I gotta be somewhat careful as we really are feeling our lack of HP as well as our lack of armor. We don't have a zillion. We don't have the ability to take a zillion hits at this point because we don't have like 18 paddings, right? So we only got our 1 single padding, which is put in overtime, truthfully. Free fertilizer, sure. Love a fuel tank. No small magazine for us. Don't need any of these. Then we'll actually take a touch of armor. See if we can get anything that will help us. Again, we don't have a ton, a ton of money at this point, but do like another thunder sword as we keep making that switch. And we are getting a touch of armor here, from that anvil, which had no thunder sword upgrade at this point. But, our offense is still very good. I mean, our defense leaves a little bit to be desired, of course. We do have, I think, 2 vigilante rings, which are desperately and slowly trying to scale our percent damage. But they're doing their best, right? Like, sometimes that's all you can ask for, is something that does their very best, which is what our thunder swords are doing. We see a looter here. We do want to take that out as we could certainly use some more items I am having to focus because, again, we don't have a ton of health, a ton of defense. So, you know, with only 62 health, even this far in endless mode, like, that's not a whole lot. As we are instantly gibbed. But there you go. See, we have 32. I think with a little more sort of endless mode specific items, we really could have gone far, but it still was a lot of fun just seeing how far endless mode you know, how far we were able to go, and sort of an interesting run. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And as always, thank you for watching.